Hi and welcome to Move with Scoliosis, your channel for everything Pilates and yoga with scoliosis. So today we're going to be talking about derotation and what we can do to counter that rib hump, especially if you have a thoracic scoliosis. Before we get into this though, I wanted to tell you about my new quiz, which you can take. It's free of charge. And if you're getting a little bit overwhelmed by all the resources and all the videos that I've got available on my YouTube channel, and there are a lot, then you can take the quiz and then you answer some questions and then it will send you some video recommendations straight into your inbox. So you can find all the details below. So let's talk about rotation. Any scoliosis always comes with an element of rotation as well. So for our right thoracic scoliosis, for example, our ribs are rotated towards the right, which is why you might feel that the right side feels more bulky. There is a little bit of a hump maybe on that side. It might be visible as well, or you might just feel it and feel that it is kind of slightly different than on the other side. So this is due to the rotation, which is really important to understand. So I'm going to show you 2 exercises today which you can do for derotation. And the great thing is these are fusion friendly as well. So if you have had spinal fusion and you're like, well, I cannot twist to derotate, then these exercises are great for you. I will also explain to you why maybe the twisting for anyone might not be the best strategy for derotation anyway. So these are some really, really good exercises which I'm going to show you in a moment. So you might say, well, if my ribs are rotated towards the right, why can I not just kind of do a yoga twist or something like that to the left to counter this rotation? So that's great thinking, of course, and yes, maybe to a certain extent that could work, but what you have to keep in mind is that anywhere, so always below and above this curvature, there's always already a counter rotation from the body, because the body is super clever and it finds a way to make sure we're not walking around like this, but always straight ahead. So somewhere above your thoracic convex side, there is a rotation towards the other side. Same in the lumbar. Even if it's not visible on an X-ray, the rotation is still there. So that means whenever you do want to derotate and just kind of twist into the other direction, you will go further into your scoliosis in a different part of the body. So that unfortunately doesn't work, but let's get into our exercises that I've got for you today. And I'm going to be using a yoga belt for this. I'm going to be using a chair, and then I'm going to be using my wall ladder here to hold on to one of the bars. Now, no problem if you don't have one of these around. What is really great to get is actually one of these bars that you can stick into in between the sides of a door. That's a good alternative. Again, if you don't have that, you can also use the back of a chair or anything else in your house. So be creative. Don't let it prevent you from trying this out. But let's get into this. So we're gonna do an exercise in sitting. And the chair that you sit on is actually quite important. But don't worry, you don't have to get a fancy chair. This is just a yoga chair here, but it has to be the right height. So for me, I am quite tall, so I did have to put a block underneath just to make sure that my hips are slightly higher than my knees. So this is really important because we want to be able to lengthen through the spine, and that lengthening and that traction will take some of that rotation already out of the spine without you doing anything else. So that's the good news. So let's take that belt, make sure that there's no knots in there. And we're going to take the belt around the bottom of the rib cage. So with a right thoracic curvature, you want to kind of find the peak of the curve, which is usually where the biggest kind of part of the hump is. So my main curvature is a lumbar curve, by the way. This is why I don't have a big rotation in the thoracic, but I do have a little thoracic curvature. So I'm kind of thinking of where exactly this is. So for me, this would be around here. And again, you want to kind of feel the part where it's the bulkiest, and that's where you bring your belt. So from there, first of all, we're just going to breathe into that little bit of resistance that we're creating with the belt. So I want you to really feel how you're expanding almost backwards into that belt. So this already can take a little bit of time to get used to. But just stay with it. Try it for a few breaths. And then what we're going to do is we're going to offer ourselves a little bit of a derotation here. So we want to bring that right side, which is rotated back. We want to push that slightly forward. And at the same time, we want to expand into the left side at the back. So you might find that you're actually, so not only is there a right kind of hump on the right side, but you might also feel that your ribs are sticking out at the front. So we want to kind of think about them drawing back. So we're going to breathe in a slightly different way now. We're going to imagine we're breathing into the left side. So we're expanding into the back of the left side. And then on the exhale, we're just ever so slightly going to pull on the right side of the belt, so that you're kind of bringing that right side slightly forwards. So we're inhale into the left, and then exhale, we're going to slightly pull on the right side, and we're also going to think about lengthening through the crown of the head. So 3 things to think about. Inhaling into the left, exhale, pull on the right, lengthen through the crown of the head. Inhale into the left. Exhale, slightly pulling on the right side, lengthening through the crown of the head. Good. So this on itself, you would continue maybe for another couple of minutes or so. This is another, it's a great kind of exercise that is great for anyone who's got spinal fusion as well, because it doesn't involve any twisting, and it kind of works from the inside out. So give that one a go, and I'm going to show you another one for which we're going to turn the chair around. So I've got the chair now facing towards the wall ladder. Again, you could do this, find something else that you could hold on to. You don't have to be sitting on a chair. You could also sit on the floor and then reach the arms up. What is important is that we're finding a little bit of traction, that we're finding a little bit of space in the spine. And my Shine members will know this. You can pretty much do this in any yoga pose as well. So once you understand the principles, you just apply it to any movement that you do. But let's bring the hands here onto the bar. And again, you want to make sure that you've got the right height of the chair, that your alignment is really that you can tilt forwards from the hips and that you can lengthen through the spine. So you might notice the theme here, it's definitely the lengthening and the traction. So I'm just kind of holding onto the bar here. I'm ever so slightly pulling on it because I do want to create a little bit of tension. And tensioning, I just mean activation of the muscles, so that I'm not just kind of hanging out here, passively stretching, but it does actually feel like a little bit of work. So from there, I'm going to do exactly the same thing that we did with the belt. So I'm thinking about breathing into the back of the left rib cage, and then breathing out from the right side, lengthening through the crown of the head. So I'm breathing into the left, And imagining how that right side is coming forward. So what you don't want to do is kind of start to turn with the whole body to twist yourself. So it's more of an internal movement. It's just this part of the rib cage, and it's not even a movement. It's more of a breath expansion, and it's using your muscles to be able to do this. So again, you could try this in a different, you could try this even in your downward dog. But I really find that this, like holding on to something, holding on to a bar and being in this more upright position is really, really beneficial. So this is a great one. You get your traction here, you get your lengthening, you get your muscle activation, and you're working with the breath, working on that derotation. So these are a couple of things that you can do. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you've got any questions. You can comment below, as always, of course. And if you would like to receive some personalized recommendations for my YouTube channel, then make sure that you do take the quiz, which you will find in the description below.